Sri Lord Shiva Bhagavate Sri Ma Durga Bhagavate Sri Hare Rama Bhagavate Om Shri Hare 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 Om Shri Hare Hare Hare.
This action is very, very important. Rather than going to the story and where it started and who started it and whatever, which just perpetuate the story, look for the one whose story it is, who is going through this. Just try to identify it. Just see it clearly. And then leave it. Don't say, okay, if I see it clearly, it's going to go away. No, just try and identify. So some clarity come to that. And then the waters can divide, then it's okay. That is the most direct. That's the most direct. Just the most immediate, the most truthful thing is when you begin to experience from presence, and you're functioning as presence from presence, rather than from person. Everything changes automatically. Everything changes. You don't have to go around sweeping corners and places. They just change automatically. Then you'll be amazed that after some time, gradually, the reference to personhood just gets weaker and weaker and weaker. And you have a sense, when people speak, that they speak from personhood, you see. And you're not troubled by that. You don't go, why are you speaking to me as a person anymore? I would say that to people in Satsang. But to the regular person on the streets, you can't say that. That's just the soup that we live in. But in Satsang you can point it out because, there is a kind of a heart commitment to break this, to break this deadlock, to break this, to break this spell. You can come out of it. You see. It does not exist apart from belief and identity, which are very linked. It has nothing to substantiate it. It has nothing to stand on. It doesn't. Without that, it cannot be said to be. Without belief and identity, because it cannot write itself in anything. It has no autonomy. It has no sentience at all. It's just. But of course, while the body is here and the consciousness is here, the vital force is here, this potential for thought activity and identity will always come. It's just that it comes as less impact. At a certain point, it is so weak that it's not even registered as even coming at all. It just has nothing at all. You are continuously in the flow of the beingness in your waking state. And the unflowing being during other times, just, That's why I was saying today that if you had nothing to experience, nothing at all to experience, would that be a terrible thing? What would remain? And then you'll know that whatever you're experiencing, that is underneath. That's most beautiful. You see, if there was absolutely no experience, no data, no comment, nothing to write about, nothing at all, what would be there? You would be here. Yes. You'll be here. In your state of no experience. I'd have to say it's a kind of no experience. Because it's not counting anything, not comparing nothing. There's no natural state. And then when the mind arises in a familiar, kind of colors, then that underlies it, is that the mind has no credibility. It doesn't have any autonomy. It is just seen as a movement inside the great space. The relationship with the identity of a being with suppressed anger or something like this, that's gonna just burn away, because it exists nowhere in the universe except in this little bubble called I. Which itself creates a universe, actually, out of this little bubble of I. What people say when they say they come, and they're very much attracted to this presence. Why? Because there's nothing going on here, basically. No calculation, no self-building or self-assessment or underthinking, or nothing is there. So in that space, the beings can breathe. We don't contaminate each other. Otherwise, we are rubbing against each other. You think, oh, you are the one who made me unhappy, and that's not true. You have a tendency to become unhappy, and so do I. Or I myself don't know how to be in that, and somehow, in some way, something contributes to it like this. When you're empty of this, of identity, it's like a perfect reflection. There's no ripples in the mirror. And so the being can sort of it's like it sees itself. It's like in an instant contemplation. It sees, and somehow you can say, what is the word now? Neutralize the poison. You neutralize the poison. You see. When you know inside that all stories are untrue. All stories are untrue. Then that seed is out of you. The seed is out of you. When the seed is out of you, those seeds can't sprout. When the people come selling seeds, you're not afraid because you have no soil for them. They can't sprout with you. And then somehow, then what may seem like a miracle can happen then. They can't transact. So then something just has to come. They have to come back to themselves, because you don't want their goods. When I don't want your goods, only you is left. This is the most important thing. Whatever other people come, you don't want their goods. None of their goods you want. Then they're left with themselves. And for the most part, when they feel themselves, sometimes initially some momentary discomfort and uneasiness come, because they've become easy with their uneasiness before. And so with their true self, they become uncomfortable for a moment, but it's only a ripple. It's just a shudder, which must pass, and then somehow they can again feel themselves again. It's like a body that's been numb for a long time, and the feelings are just coming back in again. They start to feel again their beingness, you see. And time is taken. If you fall through the ice, and you're in the water for 5 minutes, it'll take you out. And then it's going to take some while for your body to warm up again. You won't feel your toes, you won't feel your nose, you won't feel anything. And slowly, that slow time needs to be taken for the the blood to flow, for the warmth to come, for everything of this to happen, is it? And that happens when you are sufficiently empty, so the one who comes to you also, you see, can become empty. You don't make them anything, you're just empty. But you're not buying their goods. Whenever they come, you have no goods to buy. When you're not buying any goods, not because, you hate them or not. No, there's a love there, but you just don't want their goods. Then they're left only with themselves. And when they're left only with themselves, they can begin to melt down, to melt away what's not true. If they're open, because some people run, they don't, duppy, run. Get also increasingly acclimatized, you see, to the higher states of consciousness. Satsang helps you to do that, to stay in the height of your being. The person is in the lower realm in your being. So if you go down there, the hair is much more thick there. It's much more dense, more heavy. You come here, the air is much thinner, much lighter. So the beings down there can't live up here. There are some beings who live at the bottom of the ocean. They can't come to the surface. They perish. Little sunshine kill them. They have to stay at the very bottom. You have to be in the height of your being. And yet you're the total ocean, but you have to be in the height of your being. Something like that. And then something can transform all this. Just by staying in the height of your being, the lower realms get purified by themselves. Purified can also mean that they just simply vanish, or they get reabsorbed, or they lose their distinction between, real and unreal. And so when the mind is free from those distinctions, the mind and the self are the same thing. The power of the mind and the intellect to hold on to impressions get lost. You see, the mind cannot hold a fist anymore. It gets lost. It cannot hold things. And everything is freed up again. When your mind cannot hold a grip, cannot grip anything. That's the power of staying in the presence. And the presence is already there. Nobody can perfect it. Nobody can help it. The somebody that we think we are is the most flimsy concept. When seen, it's gone. If when exposed, the ego sense rebels and threatens, it only can do that in relationship to how much still there is sleep in you that keep believing that is valid or has power. When you listen to the understanding again, as it totalizes the mind and the being, you see, you start to feel your vibration start to change. I don't know if you know these things. The vibration changes, the being start to feel lighter again. Start to come in a bit discarbonated feeling. So something feels already, the current of being is like, again, all the molecules, they are moving again. And all of that is gone. All the heaviness, the heavy state is gone. You see.
Sri Lord Shiva Bhagavate Sri Ma Durga Bhagavate Sri Hare Rama Bhagavate Om Shri Hare 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 Om Shri Hare